Welcome to Turkey, welcome to Istanbul, a city that has so many special memories for Liverpool 14 years ago. That was the Champions League. Tomorrow, it's all about the European Super Cup, where they face Europa League winners Chelsea. Can Liverpool add yet more silverware to their glittering collection? Good evening, welcome along to Vodafone Park in Istanbul. Jason McAteer is alongside me. The European champions are literally just about to make their way out onto the pitch to begin their training session here ahead of tomorrow's their Super Cup final against Chelsea, against the Europa League winners, of course. Jason, it's still pretty warm given this stage of the evening. It's a lovely ground, but it is muggy.
Muggy, I think, would be the word. Yeah, it is close. There's not a lot of air here. It's not as hot as probably what the lads would have experienced in Madrid or certainly in pre-season, but there's a heat in the air, and like I said, there's a nice mugginess about the place, as you can probably tell from our shiny faces. Rob,
stadium?
Love it. Beautiful stadium. I like these really tight stadiums. About 50,000 probably will be the attendance. And when I say tight, probably, I mean, you can't really see from the angle we're at, but I mean, the first row of seats is literally 20 foot away.
Yeah.
So I like it when it's really tight. I think it makes the atmosphere a lot more intense. Like I said, it'll be full tomorrow, so they'll definitely feel the atmosphere, and it feels a lot closer. It feels a lot louder as well when you're on the pitch. As you can see, it's a lovely modern stadium, and fully equipped to hold something of this esteem.
Yeah, I should just be clear, this is not the same stadium that Liverpool won the Champions League in back in 2005. It's pretty new. It'll be Liverpool's first visit here. Just a quick word on the pitch, which could probably be in better condition.
Yeah, I mean, we've got here about 2 hours ago, didn't we? We had the luxury of seeing Chelsea train as well. Just finished their training session. They were doing a bit of shooting. Batshuayi and Ross Barkley and Pulisic were doing a little session with Frank Lampard. They were slipping over, and when they were planting the feet and trying to turn, the footing was giving way. You could see, I don't know if you can get a close up, you can just see that they've cut the pitch up significantly. There's a bit of a dew on the grass, and they have wet it. So we'll see in Liverpool's training session how the ball's moving around. But at first glances, it doesn't look great, the pitch. A bit bobbly, and it looks like it could cut up.
We're just across to our left-hand side at the moment. Jürgen Klopp has his players gathered in a little circle. He's going to be saying a few choice words to them before this training session gets underway. What do you think his message will be, and what sort of significance in the manager's mind will this game carry?
Well, firstly, he won't want to show his cards in this training session. They never do the night before. They do have the luxury of coming to the stadium, something that's gone on forever. Even when I was playing, certainly international football, you'd go to the stadium the night before. Managers reluctantly wouldn't want to give anything away, set pieces and, team selection, obviously. So they'll probably just go through a light training session, maybe a bit of shooting. I think Liverpool, what we've seen over the years, certainly under Jürgen Klopp, is they like to have a little five-a-side to finish off, maybe do a little bit of shooting. Not too dissimilar to what Chelsea done, really. But his words there will just be probably about the significance of the game. They want to gain a bit of momentum. They want to, sort of add to what they did against the Norwich victory, which was a really good performance more than anything. Like Jürgen said in the press conference afterwards, there's still work to do, which he was happy about. You don't want the perfect performance in the first game. It's still a work in progress. They're still trying to gain fitness. We obviously had the unfortunate incident with Alisson where he might miss 4 to 5 weeks, we're suggesting. But it's just one of them times he kind of reiterates what he wants from the players and the significance of the occasion. And like I say, he'll want to bring this trophy home.
And he's already spoken about making changes, keeping things fresh for this match. And the good thing with the Liverpool squad is, in terms of making changes, those coming into the team will want to say, OK, well, I want to keep the shirt for Southampton on Saturday.
Yeah, they will, and he's got a great squad at the minute. Everybody's back. You would only suggest Mane might not start the game, but everyone else is available, really. He probably will want to tweak it with the weekend's game against Southampton in mind. It's not come at an ideal time as preparation goes for the Premier League season, throwing this game in one game after the pre-season started. So he'll have that in mind, and he's got personnel that he can swap and change. I think always the area of contention for me is that midfield area. How does he want to play against which opposition? I think against Manchester United, Chelsea tended to keep the ball in that middle third really, really well. I mean, they dominated possession. I think 52% to 48 against Manchester United. They create a lot of chances, but not a lot on target. I think it was 18 chances they created. So, they weren't very clinical, but in that middle area, they did dominate. So I think Fabinho could start, Milner could come in, Henderson and Wijnaldum can obviously do defensive duties as well, but he'll want to break quick, as what we've seen with Liverpool, certainly against Norwich at the weekend.
Well, the players are just in the centre circle doing their early stretching, but it's just behind our shoulder that we can see the goalkeepers going through their early sort of warm-ups, with Adrian there, with Kevin Kelleher there, but obviously with Alisson not there. And this is an opportunity that maybe Adrian didn't think was coming. From tomorrow onwards, he's going to have at least 4 or 5 games, we would think, earliest up until the international break.
Yeah, well, I'm sure when he got the phone call, I think Jürgen Klopp would have spelt out exactly what he wanted from Adrian, and that was to sit behind probably the world's #1 goalkeeper at the minute, and if he's needed, then be ready. And we didn't think he'd be quite needed with such an impact that he's going to get. It's great for him. But I always think as well, he's got a great back four in front of him. And if Fabinho starts, he'll have a great 5 in front of him, defensive minded. Obviously the full-backs will like to get forward, but he's played a lot of games in the Premier League. He's experienced. He knows his way around. It's not like we're throwing young Kelleher in who's not used to the atmosphere and the occasion. Adrian is. I'm fully confident he'll do a decent job if he's needed.
And I guess that is the sort of mindset you have to have as a goalkeeper, because you never know, you might sit on the bench for 38 games in a season and never get a minute, but you have to be ready. And we saw that from him, didn't we, on Friday night? He made a couple of saves which were routine, but you've still got to be in a position to make them. I
think it's the concentration levels and mentally being prepared, I reckon it is, with goalkeepers, because physically, they don't do a great deal of running around. You don't need to be an Olympic athlete to play in goal, but your reflexes and all that, and they're training all the time, with the first team keeper. He's probably with him every day. John Achterberg's a fantastic coach. He'll be putting him through the paces, but I think just mentally being right for an occasion like this is what's needed, and I think with his experience he'll be fine.
In terms of their opposition tomorrow, Chelsea, do you think that Frank Lampard might have sat quietly in a room on Sunday and thought, being a Premier League manager is a little bit tougher than I thought it was going to be? Or do you think he knew the size of the task when he walked into it?
They didn't play too badly, in all honesty, against Manchester United. I thought the scoreline slightly flattered United. Yeah, they done them on the break. They were quick. Lapses of concentration at the back cost Chelsea. Yeah, of course. But, I think, in the main, I think they kept the ball really, really well. I mentioned before, I think there was a lack of clinical edge to really moves that Chelsea created. Ross Barkley having a couple of chances. Abraham's obviously hit the post, and the left back hit the bar as well. But apart from that, you can't really mention one out-and-out chance that they had. It's always a difficult place to go, Manchester United, first game of the season. But I thought they'd done okay, and it was a warning sign for Liverpool to just marshal that midfield area, which I think Chelsea dominated over Manchester United. But as United showed, when they broke, they were very, very clinical and cut Chelsea to pieces, and that's what we're very, very good at. Probably one of the world's best at breaking.
What issues do you think he has at the moment?
Dealing with the egos in the dressing room. We've already seen him, express his authority with the David Luiz incident. That was done and dusted within a week, wasn't it? He just got him out the door, didn't want him around the place. I just think Frank's got more of that to come. Obviously the window's shut now, but you're dealing with some big egos. He made some big calls at the weekend. Kante and Giroud were on the bench, 2 World Cup winners. That, if Chelsea lose against Liverpool and they don't start, they might have a case, to just knock on Frank's door and say, listen, we think we should be in the team. And then Frank's got big decisions to make. Does he stick by what he wants, his philosophies, the players he's picked in the first place, the risks of losing them to throw them players in, or does he risk them upsetting the dressing room and sort of stabbing Frank in the back, which can happen quite easily in this modern day football? Well, I say modern day, it was happening when I was playing. If you're not playing, you're always disappointed. I always think that's the secret of a manager, a great manager, is keeping the players not in the team happy, because you're going to need them one day. You're going to need them one game to come in and perform at the highest level. I don't know if Frank's got that experience yet. I'm sure it'll work out for him long term. He'll be a fantastic manager and he'll gain experience through what he's doing. But he's only one season in at Derby. Them Derby players would have looked at Frank and they would have seen Frank Lampard, the Chelsea legend. They would have rose to the occasion when playing for him. They would have enjoyed his sessions. It's different to Chelsea. He's dealing with World Cup winners, top class players at a massive football club. Dealing with egos at that level can be very, very difficult. And I think, I said it the other night when we were talking, I think it possibly might end in tears at Chelsea for Frank.
Do you think, in terms of being that manager who sticks to his principles and his philosophies, the best person to look at for Frank Lampard is the guy in the opposite dugout to him tomorrow, Jürgen Klopp, because that's what we've seen at Liverpool. We've seen tweaks and we've seen changes in personnel, but really the way he wants to play and the way he said he was going to play at the start, he's still doing it.
Yeah, but there's also that man management that you have to be as a manager. You know, Vivi's looking at Jürgen Klopp and thinking, you know, what's his greatest attribute? What's the best thing about this manager? It is his man management skills. You know, Jürgen will tell you he's not a fantastic coach. Pep's the fantastic coach. Jürgen's a great man manager of a football club, of footballers and of men. You know, he knows how to handle them. He knows when to say at the right time. He knows when to take them out of the team, but give them the right answers. If they knock on his door, he's got the right answers again. You know, it's a very, very happy camp. You've just seen the noise they're all making there. That, you know, it's a fantastic place to be at Liverpool, but that is down to the manager. You know, very rarely do we see a player knocking on the door and asking to leave. Divock Origi could have left. You know, Adam Lallana could want to leave to get more game time, but they all want to stay and they all want to play for the manager and they all want to play for this football club. So I think if Frank was going to take anything from Jürgen, I think it was his man management skills.
Jason, thank you very much indeed. We're going to leave you to it and leave you to enjoy Liverpool's final training session before tomorrow's Super Cup final against Chelsea here in Istanbul. You're watching live coverage of Liverpool's final training session ahead of tomorrow's Super Cup final against Chelsea here in Istanbul. A reminder, you can watch all the build-up with team news and interviews on LFC TV and LFC TV Go from 7 o'clock tomorrow, and get all the behind-the-scenes access by searching LFC on social media. You're watching live coverage of Liverpool's final training session ahead of tomorrow's Super Cup final against Chelsea here in Istanbul. A reminder that you can watch all the best build-up to that match on Matchday Live from 7 o'clock on LFC TV and LFC TV Go, and get all the behind-the-scenes action from here in Turkey by searching for LFC on social media.
Blimey.
Well, Liverpool just going through the final stages of their training session here at Vodafone Park in Istanbul. Jason McAteer is still alongside me, and you whispered to me as you were watching on, it's the sort of session you've enjoyed as a player.
Lots of scoring goals, crossing and shooting, very enjoyable. Nice energy about it. I mentioned to you, didn't I, when we were watching Chelsea train a few hours ago, it felt flat. You know, they were just sort of hanging around, weren't they, when Frank was putting some of them through his own shooting session. You know, they didn't all take part in that, but certainly Liverpool's sort of attitude towards the session was there's a lot more of a buzz, a lot more.
Can sessions set the tone for games?
Well, it can, yeah. I mean, you should always train like you play, and that was, you know, something that was always drilled into us. And you know, there was a nice zip about it. You know, the sessions that Pep always puts on have got a lot of energy to them as well, and you know, there's some good finishing. Some to be a little bit desired with the left foot, some of them, but yeah, it was a very, very good session, played at a good pace, and it looks like they're still going on because they're bringing the goals forward, so it looks like there's going to be a five-a-side.
Yeah, there's going to be a bit of a five-a-side to finish. Some local helpers are bringing on the goals, and interesting, along with the senior players, to see the likes of Keanu Hoover there, and Harvey Elliott's been very, very involved in the session, hasn't he?
Big fan of Harvey Elliott. He come with big expectations. I wasn't quite so sure with what everyone was saying about him until I seen his actual performance against Lyon in Geneva in pre-season. I have to admit, he was way above his years. His way to pass, his decision making, you know, his ideas, his commitment on the ball. You know, he always wanted it, and you know, I can see a big future for him. You can see why Liverpool have gone.
What's the first thing then you look for in a young player to think,
attitude?
Okay, this kid's got something.
Attitude, and then technique. You know, you can always work on your technique. You can always make your left foot better, or your weaker foot better, your weaker side. You can always work on your heading. You can always work on your touch. But your attitude comes from within. You know, if you're a winner, if you want the ball, if you want it in a tight space, you know, they're all the things that you look for. And he's got everything in abundance. And I was just speaking to Ray often, he looks after the players, and he said he's so mature for his age. I mean, he is still only 16. We forget that.
I'm not sure if our cameraman Jamie can just move off us for just a slight moment, because we could see what Liverpool will be playing for tomorrow. The Super Cup is there, glistening in the floodlights here in Istanbul. And again, I mean, Ryan Brewster was part of the squad that was involved in Madrid, and Elliott will be here tomorrow, and Keanu Hoover will be there. I mean, great for even if they don't play, to experience
I'm a big
European final.
As part of a learning curve for a young player, I think it's vitally important you get that winning habit and that winning taste, as it were. And you know, although you might not be on the pitch, you're going to be around it. You know, what they gained experience-wise from winning that Champions League is phenomenal. You know, you can't buy that. And just being around the players like James Milner and Van Dijk, seeing what it means to them, you know, being on the periphery, you know, is very, very special. And you know, as I said before, Liverpool are in a fantastic place, challenging for all kinds of trophies, you know, winning lots of football matches. You know, for the likes of Harvey Elliott, and you've just mentioned Ryan Brewster there, Adam Lewis, young Laruzzi. You know, these players, it's so valuable what they're getting. You know, you're seeing it with Sir Alex Ferguson. You know, he played the kids in it was the League Cup, but they used to get to the final, they used to taste it, he used to take all the kids with them, you know, everywhere they went, major cup finals and stuff, and you just get that flavour, taste, and you want to do it yourself. And like I said, it's something you can't buy, that experience.
What would you be asking if you're a 16-year-old as part of this Liverpool squad? What sort of questions would you have for the more senior players in the group?
You wouldn't really be asking too much. You'd just be observing and seeing how they do things, you know, and you know, they do everything right, don't they? I mentioned to you on Friday night after the Norwich game, you know, having James Milner, you know, when the manager looks at him, the manager can't do everything. He can't marshal players 24 hours a day, and there's going to be a lot of time when he's absent, you know, and that's when James Milner steps in, that's when Jordan Henderson steps in, Van Dijk, you know, just put their arm around the shoulder. I mean, I've seen the manager walking with Elliott before, he had his arm round and give him a little dig in the side, you know, just messing around with him, and that's great for the youngster because he feels at home. And the manager wants to be that person that the player feels he can go to. He doesn't want to be scared of him, he doesn't want to feel like he's inferior to him. He wants to be able to go there and say, listen, you know, what's this happening here? Is there an opportunity for me? And you know, am I going to play? Am I going to do this? And you know, that manager's here, so he's in good hands. I mean, I made a comment about Raheem Sterling. I was reading about it today. You know, I honestly think Raheem Sterling's turned into a fantastic player at Manchester City, but I put that down to Pep Guardiola. And I would say this, you know, I thought it was too soon for him to leave Liverpool. I thought his progression would have been better here at Liverpool. I thought he maybe left the season too soon. Has he proved me wrong? Probably not, because of the manager. You know, the manager's had a massive influence on his career. probably one of the only managers probably that would have had that kind of influence on Raheem Sterling.
Jason, thank you very much
very
indeed. Go and have a drink,
Thank
lie
you.
down. It's been a long shift for you
It's
today.
been a long day.
I know
Half five we
you're weary,
started.
tired and emotional. Jason will be back throughout the course of tomorrow as we continue to build up to this Super Cup final here. The players just going through their final little game in between themselves, and then they'll head to bed and come back here tomorrow looking to win the Super Cup for the 4th time in Liverpool's history. A reminder, Matchday Live from 7 o'clock tomorrow, LFC TV, LFC TV Go. For now though, from all of us here, bye-bye. Thanks for watching.